looks like most of the time, with both of us singing along to old bands like the Eagles. Fortunately, I can't play or sing because it's my attitude because I don't have inspiration. Maybe I'll finish the last birthday bass, and this is one of the gas that direction of 80 miles. The entire scenic highway on the last day was open before the snow rolled in the next day. The scenic drive is incredible. As you go all the way up to 10,000 feet, you can see great views of the desert. Speed demon right here. Speed goes anywhere. Yeah. So we made it as we headed towards Wheeler Peak and the Bristlecone Pine parking lot. We made it up to 10,000 feet in Great Basin National Park and we're heading out on the Bristlecone Trail. Real like this now. Expected, unexpected. Ancient Bristlecone pines are only found in a few places in the entire world. You can see my dad and I's road trip on Highway 395 in California to see another grove in the description. It's only 2:45 right now, but it gets dark at around 4:45 this time of year, which is why we try to rush up here, see if we can get to the bristlecones, and then head back. Be sure to note the elevation if you come up here. You're at 10,000 feet, and it can be pretty hard to catch your breath. This trail and the caves are the two most popular things in the park. The caves have been closed all of 2020 because of COVID, though, so that's why we're hiking this trail. First view of Wheeler Peak, right there. 0.7 miles and the Bristlecone Pines. There's a nice bench to relax at right here too, halfway. So we started right there. Now we're all the way over here. Some epic views way out in the distance. But the snow canceled those plans. I think those might be the start of some bristlecone nature ones down there. Not 100% but we're almost there. This trail is beautiful and remote, and my dad and I were the only people on it the entire time. We made it to the first for sure ancient bristlecone pines right there. This is the official start of the Bristlecone Pine Interpretive Trail. This interpretive trail is the point of interest to us. If you haven't seen these trees before, they're pretty big. They're all gnarled and weathered and spot to rest. The trees from the blacks in the interpretive trail end up like only turbulent trail we're on, you can that was an awesome great collection of trees. Trees grow. You can see my dad and I's visit to another one. If you're in the corner, and hopefully we'll get to another one sometime in the future. Check out how epic this view is. From there was 1.5 miles back to the car to start the drive out of Great Basin. On the way down, we stopped at the Mather Point Overlook and got some great views of Wheeler Peak as well as a little bit of sunset we found. Spend your last night on the America than staying at a historic hotel. We chose the Hotel Nevada in Ely as it was a good distance back from the Great Basin National Park and let us drive all the way back to Reno the next day. The Hotel Nevada was less than $900 this time of year, but we thought we still have something to do. That's it for our time. Hopefully you enjoyed the The iconic Route 66, which travels from California to Illinois, is one of the most famous road trips in the entire world. My dad and I had been talking about driving it forever, so we decided to make that dream a reality in June of 2019. The route is constantly changing. This video series will be helpful for those that want to look back and see what the route looked like during this time period. Also note that I tried my best to get all the correct facts in here, but I may have missed a couple. This video is just a combination of all the state ones, so if you want a shorter video, you can just watch the individual states. Here's how our 2-week journey went on Route 66. To begin our journey, we headed to the Santa Monica Pier, which has become the official end of Route 66 actually ended. For us, it was the starting point of our journey as we were heading east at our end towards Chicago. If you're doing this drive, you'll find a lot more things about Bob Waldmeyer all 2,000 miles through 66. And he's definitely one of the most iconic characters on the journey. From there, it was back up the pier and across the oceanfront walk area to our next stop. It's just a place that's dedicated to boat riders and does come through the heart of Hollywood, and you easily need a day or a day and a half to see Hollywood. If you want to explore this area, Observatory, Union Station, I have a bunch of videos on all these spots on my channel as well. First stop on this downtown Los Angeles. From there, we continue the big roads the Chicken Boy statue.
Well, that was close.
The Chicken Boy statue was made in the 1960s and was based on the famous Leffler men that you can see all along the drive. This one was different though because they put a chicken on the head and they turned the arms inward so it could hold the bucket. It was moved to its current location in 2007. Next up, we head on to the Galco's Old World Service. Well, technically not number 66, the original location of this store was built in Los Angeles in 1987. It was moved to this current location in 1956 with over 700 different sodas that you can purchase. It's a very special. After having some fun with our purchases at Galco's, we headed on towards Pasadena with a stop at the Rialto Theater. It's no longer a theater, it's actually a church now, but it's still pretty close to the outside. A few blocks from there was our next stop at the Fairbanks Pharmacy in Silverton. With over 100 years in business, Fairbanks Pharmacy is still one of those places where you can get an old-time phosphate soda. The interior looks like something out of the 1950s and it has a great vibe for Route 66 journey. They have dozens of different flavors my dad and I love seeing this old bridge, and the best place to park for it is at the end of Grand Avenue. Just be sure to read the signs so you don't get a ticket. On the way out of town, you can see the old Howard Motor Company
Fucking
building,
dumbass.
and across the street in front of the McDonald's, you can see a Bancroft marker, which was an early Pasadena milepost for Foothill Boulevard. To the town of Monrovia and the Aztec Hotel, which was built in 1924. This is the Aztec Hotel, which is one of the most famous buildings on this stretch of the drive. It's not open right now, but it's still for this. The hotel is currently undergoing renovations and is supposed to open sometime in the future. Service station before going to one of my dad's favorite places for lunch, the Rialto. While the Route 66 location is not the original one, it's still a historic place for lunch as this chain began selling their famous Israeli sandwiches in 1951. Next up, I was on to some more health food at the Donut Van. This is what the Donut Van famous on each street. They only have it like a few weeks out of the year, mostly in July and August for people. They have them each donut. You have to get fresh peaches and blades.
Yeah, because that's the only reason you'd have to look that up.
I don't know how you feel, this is so freaking good.
People are so selfish. They're just... People all together suck. I don't care who they are to. I don't care who they are. They're all nothing but a disappointment. Sorry, man. Of course you shouldn't have to look that up. I mean, hey, unless you got it.
Continuing on, we made it to the outskirts of Rancho Cucamonga, where they have two historic restaurants, the Magic Lamp Inn and the Sycamore Inn, right across the street. The Sycamore Inn in particular is historic as it's been here since the mid-1800s, but we passed them both by as we wanted to get to the Rancho Cucamonga service station before it closed. This is the Cucamonga service station. In the state of California. The Cucamonga service station was built in 1915 and it's undergoing renovations to look like what it would have back then. It even has the old bell that cars would have driven over when they came up to get their gas. This was easily one of the highlights in California as the whole thing was really well done. You should consider checking the spot out. We're going to
I'll screw around with him. Why not?
After entering into Rancho Cucamonga, you want to stop at this orange. This is the only one remaining on Route 66. It's what the farmers used to use to bring out their food and to get people to stop while they're driving. There's also a restaurant attached to the orange. We didn't stop to eat here, but it looks like a fun place if you need a bite to eat. From there, we headed on to San Bernardino and a hotel for the night. We made it to our first hotel on the road trip, the Wigwam Hotel in San Bernardino. There are 2 Wigwam hotels on the route, this one and then the one in Holbrook, Arizona, but this is the only one that we stayed at. I don't think you're going to see on that rollaway. We got rock, paper, scissors for it. This is what happens when you lose rock, paper, scissors. It was a great place to spend our first night at the American.
Hey, I need something to do until I get enough missiles ready, right?
Reservation in advance as they do so. It was just about dinner time, so we decided to head over to the Meatloaf Cafe, which has been on Route 66 since 1990. Some great Mexican food. That's not necessarily true, but we grabbed
Hey, I ain't got nothing else better to do. I don't care.
After finishing dinner, we said goodbye to our wives and then headed back to the hotel to end day 1 of our 14-day Route 66 trip.
Tell that fucking faggot.
Tomorrow we're heading to Arizona. Morning day 2, we are leaving the Wigwam Motel and we're on our way to Arizona. It's about 215 miles away. First stop is just built in 1928. Because being all the things we're trying to fit in, a lot of stuff doesn't look like the beginning or the end of the day. So we just saw both the California Theater and McDonald's.
Oh, I forgot my items. I don't care.
Next up is
I don't have much faith in them pieces of shit anyway.
Description if you're interested in learning more about it. We've been seeing where you're heading no matter what outfit you go on pass to the town of Victory. This is the Summit Inn right behind me. It's at the top of the Cajon Pass. There used to be a restaurant and they sold ostrich burgers, all sorts of crazy stuff. All that stuff is a sign off for heading on into Victorville, we made it to the Victorville Route 66 Museum. This is the Route 66 Museum. It's not open on Mondays and Tuesdays, but here's a few pictures of that's the museum. Since I've been exploring California for so long, I've been to pretty much all these places, so it's nice to have some pictures and video from previous trips. As you exit Victorville on D Street, Route 66 leaves the freeway and spends the next 40 miles on an old alignment as you make your way to Barstow. This is definitely a section you don't want to miss. Imogene is a good place for a burger if you're looking for a lunch. We're heading to Bobtree Ridge. As you leave Imogene's, you'll head over this awesome steel truss bridge, one of the many epic bridges you're going to see on your Route 66 journey. Getting to Bobtree Ridge, stop at this gas station, which is about 6 miles south. I don't know much about this gas station, but you're going to learn it was built in 1935. Every time I visit it, it seems to get more and more run down. 6 miles it's the entire Route 66 drive. This is my favorite stop on the California portion of Route 66, Horse Battleship Ranch. Unfortunately, Omlet passed away 2 weeks after we visited the ranch, so I'm not sure what's in store for the future of this historic spot. It does appear that it's going to reopen, so hopefully it'll be there if we take this trip. What do you think?
This place is crazy unique. It's interesting how everything is popular. Like it has almost like a different theme.
I've gotten a chance to talk with Omlet. He's always such a fantastic guest, responding to answering all of your questions and telling me more about his art. It's definitely one of my favorite roadside attractions to see in the entire city. Alright, we leave. Main Street, historic 66 motel, lots of murals all around the streets. There's even a map online with all the locations. The main thing we were planning on doing was to see the 66 museum.
We were planning to go to this museum, but we really
I've visited this museum a few times over the years, and while it's relatively small, it's definitely worth a stop as it has some nice exhibits. Plus, it's situated in one of the old Harvey houses, and this one was built in 1911 and features a lot of old train cars that you can see outside as well. From the museum, we passed some more old hotels and some murals as we made our way up North Star into the We're in the was built in the 1800s and operated by By this time, we were ready for lunch, and our options had become pretty limited, so we decided to stop at the Baghdad Cafe. Built in the 50s, this restaurant became famous because of a German language film. When we were there was a lot of people coming in and taking photos, so it must be pretty popular. Maybe better get a snack for lunch in person. The town of Amboy is located pretty much out by itself. It's historic for 2 things. One is that outside the small town that people continue materials and all sorts of things. There's even some signs for the nearby Mitchell Cavern. All that was left for us to see in California was a few stops in the town. As well as a few old motel signs. We did a little research and figured out that you could get is the highway, the current 66 highway right here. But this is what they used to drive across in the 40s. And it's way cooler. Look, California, looks like Arizona's actually excited for us to be here. Turn right, Route 66. After crossing over the Colorado River and seeing old trails voyage from the famous Needles, we made it into Arizona. That's California, we're entering into Arizona. From the state line, you'll get off this uninterrupted stretch of Route 66 that's still alive. It's about 158 miles and it goes from the Colorado River to around the town of Nashville. Made it to our first stop in Arizona, Omlet, where we're going to get some dinner and check out all the donkeys that are supposedly exploring the town. Located in the Black Mountains, one of the most picturesque parts of the Route 66 drive, Omlet is famous for the way the town's been preserved and for the fact that it's under the streets.
I'm pretty much having
We got there pretty late in the day, but we're still able to make a few stops.
It was bound to happen eventually. Get out of here.
These are the residents of Omlet. Hey, donkey. After hanging out with the donkeys, we headed into the Omlet Hotel to grab dinner. This hotel is supposedly haunted and it was built in 1902. It's also where Clark Gable and Carol Lombard spent their honeymoon night, and you can still see the room upstairs. The restaurant walls are lined with dollar bills, and you can make your mark and then staple them to the wall. We grabbed burgers here right before they closed and then explored a little bit more of the town. Open Hotel, that's where we went for dinner. Good food, fun atmosphere, dollar bills everywhere, and definitely look up when they closed though because they stopped serving at 5:30 when we came. The small town had a few more things to explore, but most of it was closed, and so we headed on to our next destination. This would be a fun but hot time to be in Omlet. Very nice. Do not miss Omlet to Arizona. It's such a fun town. The drive from Omlet to Kingman is one of the most beautiful in all of Route 66 as it winds up through the Black Mountains and takes you over Sitgreaves Pass. This area used to be in the 20s and 30s as the steep downhill slant was tough for many drivers. After going over the pass, you'll get to Cool Springs, which has a small museum and gift shop, and it's a fun place to grab a drink. When we finally made it to Kingman, it was dark, so we took some time to drive around and see the mountain signs before going to bed. Day 3, leaving from the Rambling Rose in Kingman, we're heading to Flagstaff tonight. Before sleep backpack, a little bit to see what the town had to offer before heading home. Route 66 museum. Some are definitely better than others, and the one in Kingman, Arizona is one of the best. It has a ton of history and interactive exhibits that you can see, and I definitely recommend that you stop by. As you can get stamps for the different locations that you visit. This is where we learned about the Route 66 passports, and you can get one just for the state of Arizona, or you can get one for the entire drive. I recommend the one for the entire drive. It's a lot of fun to stop and get stamps and little trinkets that they give you. Across the street from the Powerhouse Museum, there's also a fun little diner. It was too early for food for us. On our way out of town, we stopped again at the historic hotel, which supposedly has the world's longest Route 66 map. This is our first stop today, the town of Hackberry. This is basically the only thing in the town, the general store. Once Route 66 went through it, this store became popular for travelers and it's still one of the best general stores on the entire route today. Don't forget sold signs are everywhere on Route 66, but this was one of the ones that was in the best condition. There wasn't much to see in Peach Springs other than getting our next game, so we continue it. Next up, we're outside of Peach Springs, and we're taking the Caverns tour, which is an hour tour about 200 feet below the ground. My dad hates small spaces, so I left him upstairs and I went down and took the cave tour. This cave is especially unique because there's a restaurant that you can reserve to eat at, and there's a room that you can stay at in the bottom of the cave. It's expensive, but I have to imagine it's a pretty crazy experience. The cave also has a lot of interesting history and unique formations to see, and it was definitely a lot of fun. I would recommend it if you like this type of thing. From there, it was on to Seligman, one of the most famous. We're in the town of Seligman, Arizona. This is definitely one you don't want to miss. So much cool stuff to see here, and it was the town that Cars was based off of. Seligman was on Route 66 from 1926 to 1978, when Highway 40 bypassed it by only a few miles. This essentially killed the town until Angel Delgadillo revived it and made it what it is today, one of Route 66's most popular stops. Don't leave a comment about visiting Angel's shop. He's one of the people who's responsible for actually
Oh man.
Be sure to check out the shop and grab some.
7:30. You need to take a hot shower. A really hot shower.
After finishing lunch, we left Seligman and made our way through Ash Fork. There wasn't much to see there other than a few old buildings and signs. The city of Williams, Arizona was the last spot that was bypassed on Route 66. It's a bustling town for tourists with lots of shops, neon lights, hotels, and other Route 66 memorabilia. It's also the gateway to the Grand Canyon, and you can ride a train to the Grand Canyon from Williams if you have an extra day while you're driving Route 66. I would recommend just parking your car in the downtown area and walking up and down the main street and seeing what the city has to offer. This is the world's largest steel Route 66 sign. Also, on the north side of the main street, there's a old gas station that's a free museum that you can see. There's a train car for a bridge. We're not going this time. Next stop, here's some clips of last time I was there. Choose to visit the Grand Canyon while driving Route 66. If you want to do that, it's about an hour and a half from Williams to the south, and that's a great area with tons of viewpoints down to the canyon and things that you can see. If you choose to go from Flagstaff to a different and less touristy part of the Grand Canyon, which has the Desert View Watchtower, one of my favorite things to see on the road. Alright, now back to Route 66 with our arrival at Flagstaff. Museum Club was a tax carving place. Super cool spot.
guys.
Supposedly haunted
Oh man, I was so close to taking him out. Oh my gosh, that was pretty cool. I'm getting sub damage. No, brother.
After dinner, we walked around downtown a little bit, saw the neon lights, and then headed back to our hotel to play some darts and crash for the night.
Back in our amazing hotel, staying in the province of Arizona, playing darts.
To start our second day in Arizona, we took advantage of our downtown location and went to Fire Creek Coffee. Starting day 4, we are leaving. We're on our way to New Mexico.
I usually don't play this that much, but
Flagstaff Visitor Center. I also kept noticing that a lot of places had the smash penny machine, so I decided to start collecting those as well. On the way out of town, there was a few more signs and old buildings to see before making our way to our first stop. This is our first stop today, about 15 miles outside of Flagstaff, Twin Arrows. Twin Arrows was another favorite stopping point for people on Route 66 as the two arrows beckoned them into the trading post that sat nearby. Unfortunately, when Highway 40 came, it was hard to keep the trading post in business and it became the ghost town that it is today. Basically, the same thing can be said for the businesses at our next stop in Two Guns, which was also a place that people stopped and became a ghost town with Highway 40. This is the ghost town of Two Guns. There's not much to see here anymore. There's this old abandoned gas station and a few old buildings out there as well. It's basically for leaving Two Guns, if you have time, you can go to Meteor Crater National Landmark. This attraction is pricey, but it gives you access to a viewpoint from which you can see a crater that was created by an 150-foot meteor that impacted the Earth. It's certainly something you need to see while you're driving through Arizona. From there was about a 25-minute drive to our next stop in Winslow. Our first stop in the city was at the Visitor Center, where we saw some of the exhibits they had on Route 66 Native American history and got our passports stamped. Look at this awesome piece of petrified wood I got at the Visitor Center in Winslow, Arizona.
So these sculptures were created by Peter Toth in the 70s and the 80s. These things were called the Mystery Giants to Native Americans.
The sculpture, a few Burmese and old trains were all in the park that's right next to the Visitor Center. From there, we headed into the downtown area and stopped at what's supposedly the world's smallest church before making it to the main attraction in the city. We made it to Winslow, Arizona, standing on the corner park over there from the Eagle song. Take it easy.
Flatbed Ford, right there.
Standing on a corner park is an area that honors the famous Eagles song Take It Easy and the line that talks about being in Winslow, Arizona. I can't play it for you because I probably would get a copyright strike, but you can hear my dad singing it a little bit in the background.
See, it's a girl, my lord, ain't it?
While you're here, it's free and there are a bunch of small exhibits in there. If you're into the history, the museum is right next to standing on a corner park, and while it doesn't have a lot of Route 66 history, it has a lot of area history. the way out of town, stop at La Posada, which is an old Harvey House hotel with lots of things to see and history in the lobby area. This hotel is really beautiful. It has a fancy dining area if you're looking for a place to eat, or a bunch of rooms if you're looking for a place to stay. We just walked around the lobby and hallways and saw a lot of people. From there was back. This is our next stop, the Jackrabbit Trading Post in Arizona.
Yeah, there you go. It looks like it's about built for you, that Jackrabbit does.
The Jackrabbit Trading Post was one of my favorite stops on Route 66 in Arizona. You'll see the Silhouette Rabbit sign all the way to Chicago with mileage noting how far you are from the Jackrabbit Trading Post as you continue your drive.
Yes, look at that stamp. That's one of the best ones they've got some price. You have to be sure to check into the Jackrabbit Trading Post. Great prices, and the people who run there are just great people.
Right before Holbrook, you can stop at Geronimo Trading Post. They say they have the world's largest piece of petrified wood. This goes down into the earth, and then all the pieces that fell around it were all once part of this tree. There's also
Hey there,
another
Casey.
trading post here with lots of different things for sale, including petrified wood if you're interested.
I usually don't play this map, but I kind of learned that sometimes you get lucky if you do it right.
This one's especially cool because there's classic cars inside every one of the windows. This is a really fun photo spot. All the classic cars and the big ones behind it.
Comprende.
There's a museum here if you want to check it out. It's free. It has some exhibits, a little bit about Route 66, but it's a cool building to see.
Bueno game.
Different exhibits in the museum.
Oh no! Sometimes you get lucky.
The only park that had a
No,
piece of Route
I didn't
66
have
on
enough
the
time
grid.
to aim them right.
15 minutes in the park, you go check it out. This park is a beautiful place to spend some time in Arizona, and the Painted Desert
Wow,
was a Route
that's
66
great.
landmark in the 20s and 30s that people but now it's just a museum. This is the thing you have to see when you go.
That's really good.
It's a petroglyph that they found in the Blue Mesa. Next to it. Bob's exploring the Painted Desert.
That's some talent, bro. That's one thing I like about this game is that you can actually have talent and use your skill. You know.
This is where the 66 goes to the park. There's an old abandoned car here. And then
How long have you been playing? Or what level are you? That tells pretty much how long you've been playing. I think I'm an 80-something. Level 80-something.
Alright, we're leaving the park and we're heading on to New Mexico. On the way to New Mexico, we stopped to take a picture with a few more signs and to make our last stop at an old ghost town called I didn't know what F-Troop was myself, but
Oh, I see. God bless. God bless.
there's also another great trading post known as Yellow Horse right on the border of Arizona and New Mexico that you can stop at.
Man, I need to take a hot shower. I
It
need to
was
take
late
a
in the day on our
hot
fourth day of
shower.
travel when we crossed over from Arizona to New Mexico. Leaving Arizona and entering into New Mexico. We only drove about 25 minutes over the border to get to the town of Gallup and our hotel, the El Rancho. This hotel was one of the most unique places we stayed in
I have
the
something
entire
to
Route 66
confess to everyone.
It opened in 1937 and many famous guests stayed there over the years. It still has a lot of that old charm, and it's become a landmark on Route 66.
I mean, I love my country. I love the United States, but I'm a fan of Russia. I like Russia. I mean, I don't even really understand their politics or their governments, but I like the people. I think Russians are pretty cool. Alright, let's see here. No, I don't agree with some of their theologies, maybe.
Most of the early part of
Oh, I'm dead.
Stop on Route 66. Showing you the process to get the uranium, and even having a processor's basement that features a walkthrough showing the entire process in an interactive. Driving this is one of my favorite gas station signs that I saw in New Mexico. And then we continue on to the roads on the western outskirts of the
look at that! I'm dead.
100-degree curve and the deer that would often cause traffic to go off the road. Also,
Yeah, I don't play with anything but the CB.
this rock is known as
I wanted to be good at it, you know, so... And like I say, this game takes skill. It takes a lot of practice. So I just, when I started playing this game, I forced myself to play with nothing but the CV. And so I got a lot of practice. I'm still not the best, but I don't do bad. I guess I'm average. I'm sure if I were to play more often, then...
It's a good stop as it's a beautiful old bridge.
My stats.
This is the Enchanted Trails Resort right outside of Albuquerque, home of one of 2 stamps for New Mexico in the Route 66 passport stamp book. I probably wouldn't have stopped here if it didn't have a stamp for the book that we were collecting, but it did have a nice outdoor area with some old cars and old Airstreams.
I'm about a 40% with my dive bombers. That's what it was. I couldn't remember. Because that's the kind of things I pay attention to, is the accuracy with my torpedoes and the dive bombers. Fleet progress. Oh wow, I didn't notice that. Oh wow. The midway isn't all the way... What? What does that mean?
Mary Church was built in 1793 and is one of the oldest surviving churches in the city. It's been in continuous use for over 200 years, and it's open to the public.
I don't have anything else to put on there.
Our next stop in the area was a little bit different. In Old Town Albuquerque, you definitely stop by the Rattlesnake Museum. Sure, this museum doesn't have anything to do with Route 66, and I have no idea what's
I'm gonna play one more game and
then largest collection of different types of rattlesnake species.
feel better.
Walking around checking this place out is definitely worth the price of admission to see the snakes and to get a certificate of bravery at the end. For lunch, we headed over to the dog house in Albuquerque, which was one of our favorite food stops in the entire
Oh, I saw writing on the screen. Give me a second.
This is the best.
I didn't quite catch what it said. Just give me a second.
10 out of 10.
Oh. Okay, cool. Awesome. Thank you for that. I didn't understand that. I thought it was your,
If you guys like chili dogs, don't
yeah,
pass
your
this
upgrade
place. It is
progress.
so freaking good. From there, we made it to the heart of Albuquerque, where a lot of the Route 66 stuff is no longer there. There's 12 statues on Old Trails Highway, only 2 on Route 66, and this is one of them in Albuquerque. The 12 Madonna of the Trail statues are dedicated to the spirit of the pioneer warrior in the United States, and they go all the way from California.
Alright, where is everybody going?
There's also
Whenever I line up my torpedoes, I try to find at least 2 ships that are going in the same projection, like these 2.
It was worth stopping by to see it, though.
No, that's too late.
Alright, so from here you have to decide if you want to go to Santa Fe or not. If you do, it's about 2 hours out of the way, and that's without stopping to see anything. That being said,
Top log distance?
up to Santa Fe and see
What do you need? Oh, okay.
Some
Alright.
of my favorite spots in Santa Fe are the Santa Fe Plaza, the Loretto Chapel, and the Pecos Casino. Plus, not Route 66 related, but if you have kids, you should definitely go to Meow Wolf as well. You can see all of these recommendations in the Santa Fe video I made in the description. But now back to my dad and I's drive where we left Albuquerque. After leaving, there's so much to see basically all the way to Santa Fe. That's why I recommended that if you have the time, you should go up to Santa Fe.
That's a long shot that I just did, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. Oh gosh. The 61 degree water is still Oh, I didn't get anything. Oh, I almost got a little something there. You know what though? Bad. Yeah, I knew he was going to do that. Well, I didn't know it, but I was hoping he would.
Day number 6, we're leaving our hotel in Santa Rosa with the end goal being Amarillo, Texas. Before leaving Santa Rosa, we're stopping at the Route 66. The museum is a lot bigger than it looks from the outside, and it probably has 30 to 40 old vintage and unique cars for you to see.
I'm trying to keep moving too,
My dad or I
because of those 2 carriers. I don't know if they got their eyes on me or not, but they really can't get to me right now, unless they do a bunch of waypoints.
We stopped in the ghost town, which was a 56 stop before Highway 40 bypass day, and it became a ghost town. Of all the ghost towns we saw on this route, this one definitely had one of the most ruins for you to explore. Driving on, we got to another ghost town, the town of Newkirk. This is truly a barren section of Route 66, and it really shows you how Highway 40 devastated some of
Ooh, look at that. I'm gonna get a kill. Yeah. I've been working on them too. That's good. Come on, give it to me. Give it to me. Give it to me.
Leaving the ghost towns behind us, we made our way
I didn't get it. Come on, man. He's gotta know I'm on him. That's gonna take a minute.
The towns you want to plan to spend the most amount of time. Plus, it's a good place to spend the night as well as there's a lot of old, historic Route 66 hotels and motels. Made it to Tucumcari, which is a popular Route 66 town. First stop, the museum. Like I said previously, most of the major towns on Route 66 have a museum. We tried to stop at all of them, and this one was especially cool because of the photographic exhibit they had.
Oh, are you serious?
You're traveling Route 66 now.
Oh my gosh, are you serious? Man. Man.
Old signs that are still in good condition to retrofitted gas stations and even trading posts.
Oh, and look at that. Wonder if you're watching my live stream, man.
Heading a few blocks down the street will take you
I got him.
Swallow Motel, which is an iconic neon sign on Route 66 that's popular. Unfortunately, we were there in the middle of the day, so we didn't get to take any pictures of it at night. And also, when I called to stay there, it was popular as well. So if you want to stay at this iconic hotel, you definitely go in advance. Yeah, the two-room carry definitely stop at Curios. Basically, the rest of Route 66 in New Mexico is the same as the earlier part of the day, with not much to see other than some abandoned gas stations and ruins. This section is 14 miles of dirt, which goes through old homesteads and level road bridges. See the highway way out there, but we are on. For both my dad and I, this was one of the coolest sections in the state, as it gave you a real feel for what Route 66 would have been like for the early travelers. It's not for everyone though, and if you want to fast forward, you probably want to skip this section and just stay on. Route 66 is paralleling the freeway as you cross over the Texas state line. A little bit on the freeway, so we're leaving New Mexico and entering into state number 4. Here's our first one. Officially made it to the midpoint of Route 66. Only 1,100 miles.
Got him. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that was good. Let's get out of here. Let's go. Let's go. Go, 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 go.
Don't leave with the kind they have revolving flavors, and the one I had was incredible.
Get out of here. We need to go after this guy. Surrender now. Surrender your vessel.
Even if you're not hungry, be sure to stop
No.
at the Cafe for pizza. It's definitely worth the trip. From there, we headed to the town of Omlet, which is basically the first town you'll see in Texas. Look at this one going into Texas. Great exhibits on Route 66 and a lot of really cool people. Plus, we got a passport stamp, and they let us print our own postcard. Alright, I'm printing my own. Wow, that is super cool. branches of public art installation outside of Amarillo, Texas that began in the 1970s when 10 Cadillacs were buried nose down in the ground. It's open to the public and you can bring your own spray paint and make your mark on any of the different cars. I have to admit, it was a lot more fun than I thought to paint on these old cars. Check out my dad up there doing work smart. Probably a good 45 minutes here, and it's hilarious how you finish painting something and something comes up and it's over.
He's dead.
Ranch, at least for 10 minutes.
With 66, Dr. Jeff, 2019.
We finished our time back out. Something you want to do on Route 66. Now we're heading to our hotel at the
That was bad. I didn't use any dive bombers. I don't think, did I? Yeah, I did. I launched 10 of them. Lost 5. Bones launched 8. And didn't hit with one of them. I got 25% torpedo bombers.
Unfortunately, the pool was closed for cleaning, so I didn't get to jump in. But we
That'll take my stats down.
I was out front and explore the property.
Alright, anyway.
There you go.
Alright, you too, brother. Thanks for joining me and hanging out.
We walked all over the restaurant, saw the jail, the big cowboy booth, the big chair, and all the other crazy stuff there is to see here. So this steak is $72, and if you eat it in more than an hour, you get it for free. But I wish I could get that thing is. Plus, you gotta eat shrimp, potato, the salad, and bread. This person has done it in 4 minutes.
16% for an epic container. I got plenty of gold though, I'm not too worried about it. I'm halfway to my platinum container, or my legendary container.
Look, we got salads. Mrs. Green.
My dad went with the steak, and I went with the baby back ribs. It was a fitting only dinner in Texas for us. We just had an awesome meal of steak and ribs. Luckily, our hotel room is right over there. That's the end.